Hey, today I wanted to comment on something I found by the Vox channel on why eating healthy is so expensive in America. Or is it? Hey, I'm Dr. Ekberg with Wellness for Life, and if you like to truly master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. So is food expensive? Well, that's a relative term. There's a lot of opinion and value in that. So let's look at the bigger picture. So in 1950, we spent 24% of our income on food, and in 2010, 60 years later, we spent 6.8%. So the percentage dropped more than 3 times. And yet we think of food as expensive because inflation drives the prices up, and we only remember what it was last year. But over time, we spend less and less and less on food. At the same time in Europe, they spend 11 to 15%, almost twice the percentage of their income on food. And in terms of real dollars, the US spends $2,200, France spends over $3,000, and Norway spends almost twice as much as the US at just under $4,500. We don't spend so much as we think on food. We spend a lesser percentage than ever, and we spend less than most other countries in terms of dollars on food. What has changed is our priority. We don't see it as really important anymore. We've been sold the idea that it doesn't really matter what you eat as long as you get enough calories, or it's this or that, or the government puts a percentage of vitamins and nutrients and cholesterol satisfied in the food. So we've forgotten what real food is. We've lost track of what healthy food is. And convenience is a big deal. We've gotten more and more busy, so we don't want to take the time. If we think that we can get the same result picking up something on the way home from work, from McDonald's or some fast food, rather than spending the time, if we don't understand the difference, then we'll go for the convenience. So we need to get back to understanding how much of a difference it is in the quality of the food. So we have to get back to understanding why we eat. And the first reason that we eat is to get fuel. That's why you get hungry. That's what you need. You need the energy to get through today and tomorrow. So the primary reason to eat is fuel, and that's that ugly word called calories. All right? So we've been taught to think of calories as something bad. Oh, don't eat that. It's got too many calories. Don't eat nuts. Don't eat avocado. It has too many calories. Eat the crispy rice cookie. It only has less than 100 calories, so you can eat as much as you want. It's guilt-free. We've gotten the ideas, the basic principles on food completely turned around, and we're so lost in our low-fat and our calorie principles. Calories are a good thing. They keep you alive. Every other animal on the planet eat to get calories, and they try to get as many as possible. When you fill up your car, you're getting your car calories in the terms of fuel, and you're trying to get as many calories as possible for as few dollars as possible. And this is how we need to start thinking about food also. We need to get the largest amount of calories for the fewest amount of dollars, but it needs to be whole food. It can't be processed, it can't be sugar, it can't be grain or starchy things or mass-produced or packaged food. None of those are actually food, and they will ruin our health. The second thing we need is GRP, genuine replacement parts, and that is building blocks. It's everything that whole food has that your body needs to provide fuel and to convert the fuel and the building blocks into new tissue. So we're talking enzymes, we're talking vitamins and minerals, all of it in the complex form, in the combined form that nature provides it, but also the amino acids and the essential fatty acids that your body needs that it can't get elsewhere. And the third part that food provides is cleansing. Vegetables in particular are cleansing. We don't eat vegetables to get fuel or genuine replacement parts or building blocks. We eat vegetables for cleansing. So the reason we want to eat them is different. Okay? I'm not opposed to vegetables, but that is not the key to turn your health around. When I watched this video, they said, oh, if we could only have more produce, if we could only get people to eat more fruits and vegetables, then there would be less obesity and diabetes, because people who eat more fruits and vegetables have less diabetes. Yes, but the reason that they have less diabetes is that by the time you start eating more fruits and vegetables, you understand more about food, so you eat less cereal and grain and bread and soda and sugar and cookies and candy and donuts, etc. That's why they have less diabetes, not because they eat more produce. And again, I'm not opposed to produce. I think you should eat several cups every day, but the reason is cleansing, not to get fuel or building blocks primarily. And a lot of people feel better when they eat a lot of vegetables because a lot of people are toxic. The more toxic you are, the more desperately your body needs cleansing. That's why it works so great for a lot of different disease conditions, especially cancer or autoimmune diseases. People are so toxic, they need a lot of cleansing. Vegetables are great for that, right? Throughout the last 50 years, we have been very, very misled on what whole, healthy, real food is. The food pyramid just confused things. And most of the stuff that's really, really good for us, most of the stuff that has a lot of fuel, calories, most of the stuff that has a lot of building blocks has been deemed bad, has been demonized, vilified, cursed. So we're talking here meat, fish, fowl, game, fat, nuts. Those are the stuff that gives you the most fuel and the most building blocks and the most nutrients that are the most suitable for humans in the long term to rebuild and heal your body. Then we add on the vegetables and the berries for the cleansing. And all of these are low glycemic, meaning they don't raise your blood sugar, they don't trigger insulin. So these are the safest food to eat for anybody. Then if you're already healthy, you don't have insulin resistance or a weight problem or a disease, now you can add some fruit and some beans and some tubers like potato, sweet potato, various different roots, because if you're not insulin resistant, then you can tolerate some of this, and they give you a good nutritional value for the amount of food you eat. So that's why we eat food, to get calories, to get things, and that's the type of foods that have the most of them. So now you probably say, yeah, but that stuff's still so expensive. I can't afford to buy organic. I can't afford to buy grass-fed because it's 30% more or it's 50% more or this or that. So we want to think differently about these. And I'm going to give you some examples of how inexpensive this food really is. Think in terms of calories. And we're going to give you prices in terms of dollars per 1,000 calories. And then assume that the average person needs about 2,000 calories a day. Now, you would only need to eat 2 times whatever this amount here is. And of course, it doesn't work like that. You're not going to eat just 2 things off all this. You're going to eat a variety, but it'll give you an idea of how much money you would have to spend. 15% fat, ground beef, grass-fed, organic. I found that at Walmart. I tried it. It's excellent. Some of the best tasting ground beef I've had. 1 pound is about $5.50 and gives you 1,000 calories. So that's enough to feed at least 2 large people if you only eat a few meals a day. If you eat smaller meals, smaller people, that's probably enough to feed 4 people. Chicken thighs, organic, and I'm lazy, trying to save some time, be convenient, so I buy the skin-free, bone-free, boneless, skinless, and it cost me $3.50 per pound. Gives about 1,000 calories. Sardines, try to get something in a good oil, about $4 per 1,000 calories. Cheddar, not the cheap stuff, I'm talking grass-fed, organic, raw, the stuff that your body can utilize that doesn't stress your body. $5.50 per 1,000 calories. Eggs, $6 for 1,000 calories. So these eggs are the pastured. They are the ones where the chickens run around like they used to. They have at least 108 square feet per chicken. That's the standard for pasture. So these eggs cost about 4 to 5 times as much as the cheapest eggs. But it is so worth it because if the animal is healthy, the food is healthy. If the animal is stressed and sick and medicated, then you're going to be the same. Sour cream, you can find some as low as $1.50 for 1,000 calories. So these are primarily the proteins. This is the amino acids, the building blocks that builds most of your tissues. Then we look at your main energy source. This is where you get the most calories, the most healthy natural calories in their natural form per dollar. Butter, grass-fed, organic, cultured butter, $1.80 per 1,000 calories. Sure, it's twice as much as the cheapest you can find, but you still can't eat more than $1 of butter a day, okay, even at this price. So switching from the worst to the best butter is still only costing you 50 cents a day. Coconut oil, $1.30. Olive oil, less than $1. 93 cents per 1,000 calories. So just drizzle it on everything. Put it on all your vegetables, put it in your omelette, put it on everything you can think of because it is good energy. I just came back from Crete earlier this year and they consume 35 liters of olive oil per person per year. It's a third of their caloric intake and they are have some of the lowest rates of degenerative disease anywhere. Black beans, not a fat, but I just kind of threw it in here. $1.29 per 1,000 calories. Again, if you're insulin resistant, if you have trouble losing weight, then you want to leave those off. But if not, you can tolerate some of those. Flaxseed, $1 per 1,000 calories. Hemp seed, $1.92. Peanut butter, $1.29. Again, organic, not sugar and margarine and shortening and all that stuff, but organic, natural with sea salt, $1.29 per 1,000 calories. Walnuts, $1.50. So a lot of different nuts, a lot of different seeds. Get them as natural as you can, and you have a tremendous value of fuel and replacement parts per dollar. So now we get to the vegetable kingdom. Now we get to what they're calling the healthy food, which again, I agree, but we eat it for a different reason. Avocado, $4 per 1,000 calories. Eggplant, $9. Bell pepper, $22. Broccoli, $12. Cauliflower, $13. And then spring mix, these organic little baby greens, $62 per 1,000 calories. So then you're saying, oh, I thought you were going to show us inexpensive things. Look how expensive that is. True, per 1,000 calories, but you would never ever try to eat 1,000 calories of spring greens. Trust me, that's like 15 pounds. That's like 15 buckets of spring greens to get you 1,000 calories. So that's not why you eat those. That's not why you eat the vegetables. You eat the vegetables for the cleansing. You eat the meat and the fat, the animal product and the fat to get the fuel and the building blocks. So here's how you want to think about this, okay? You start off trying to get a regular supply of vegetables. Get several cups. Get as many different kinds as you like. Get asparagus and green beans and broccoli and cauliflower and bell pepper and kale and whatever else that you like and enjoy a good variety. Then you pour fat on it. You pour butter, olive oil, coconut oil, you put nuts and seeds on it, you season it with lots of healthy, good salt, the pink salt, the sea salt. Season to taste. Salt is not a bad thing. Your body needs it as long as it's not a chemically pure sodium chloride table salt. And then you add on some for protein. So this doesn't need to be most of the meal. This is maybe 20-30% on average. You get a good variety of different animal products. And there you have a good balance of food, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. And the more you eat like that, the more you'll notice you don't get so hungry, so you don't have to eat 3 times a day with snacks in between. You eat twice a day with 1 snack, and then once a day with a small meal and maybe a snack. Okay? So that's also time saving. And then in some future videos, we'll talk about how to make larger batches, how to buy in quantity, how to prepare and freeze things. Because a lot of this stuff you can make a larger batch and freeze, and then it is not so time consuming. So we have to change some things that we do, but we have to also learn and understand why we're doing it so that we understand why it's worthwhile. As you probably notice, the absolute cheapest calories are not up here. That's the grain and the sugar and the soda and all those different things. They are dirt cheap and they're not food. They are the things that cause disease and that cause the obesity and the diabetes. Humans have not had them for a very long time. We've certainly not had them in the abundance and the processed form that we're getting them today. So that's one thing that we have to start understanding, is that certain things, they're not food, and we just can't go on consuming them if we want to be healthy. So is food expensive? Not really. We spend less than we've ever had. We spend less than most countries. And the reason we think it's expensive is because we don't understand where we get the biggest bang for the buck, and we've been told the wrong things about most of the really good food, like meat and fat, chicken, fish, not just beef, but all sorts of animal products and the fat that comes from them and from nuts and seeds in their natural form. The other way to think about this is that the most expensive food is the one that makes you sick, because you either invest in a little bit better food and health, or you pay for disease later. And we have the most expensive healthcare system in the world, and it's accomplishing very, very little because we keep ruining the body with the wrong kinds of foods. So when you look at that donut, which is arguably the worst possible food out there, it is processed sugar, it is processed flour, processed vegetable oils, topped off with chemicals, then that is not something that can sustain your body. So it's going to make you sick. And if you think about that donut and it cost you $1 to purchase, what if you weigh in the cost of the future medical costs and the emotional and physical suffering? Then that donut suddenly becomes very, very expensive. Maybe it's not $1, maybe it's more like $100 now. And maybe it's not so attractive anymore. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you know a little bit more about how to eat healthy, what healthy food is, and how it doesn't have to be expensive. If you're new to this channel and you enjoy this sort of content, make sure you subscribe so we can keep this content coming your way. Thanks for watching.